John,
Hello, Edward.
before we talk about the law, let's talk about you. Who is John Griffin?
That's a very good question. Who is John Griffin? On the face of it, John Griffin is a successful solicitor practicing in Temple Oak. But who is the real John Griffin? That is the whole point of this interview, and hopefully we will get to the bottom of this together.
So John, what car do you drive?
I'm a big Alfa Romeo fan. I've always driven Alfas. I previously had an Alfa Spider, gold, soft top, roof came down. Then I got married. My daughter looked into the back of the car. There was only 2 seats. It had to go. Next car I had was a 159. Now I'm driving a Giulia 280 brake horsepower, and she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at buying a Stelvio, but I haven't really decided yet.
So John, next question. Why did you choose to become a solicitor? Was there a special moment in your life when you knew you wanted to help people?
Well, Edward, I do have good rapport skills with people. I get on well with people. My skill set also includes being good at language. And when I was in school, I had this basic idea of fairness and the law being fair to everyone. And that's what attracted me to becoming a solicitor.
Okay, John, you started this firm over 30 years ago. What was your bigger goal back then? And did you achieve or at least come close?
Very good question. At the time, I was working for another firm of solicitors, and I ended up getting fired. There were no other jobs available, so I set up on my own. I had to make a living. Needs must. And I'm quite happy that I did set up on my own. The best thing that my ex-boss ever did to me was to fire me, because otherwise I'd never have set up on my own.
And then my next question, John, it's about looking back at your whole life and career. What is the one thing you're most proud of?
Apart from my family and from the support given by my parents when I started off, the one thing that really makes me proud is training in new staff. We do an intern program with a top university where we get students for one entire university year from September to May. And to see them come on and progress and grow gives me great pride.
So my next question for you, John, you have a built team, a strong media presence to help Ukrainians in Ireland. Why is helping this specific community so important to you personally?
Most communities came to Ireland by choice. The Ukrainian community came to Ireland not by choice, but by force of circumstance through the bullying of another country. I therefore have great empathy for people who have been put upon and bullied and want to help them as best I can.
Okay, John, so be honest, have your Ukrainian staff taught you any Ukrainian words yet? Do you have maybe a favorite one?
Well, my favorite word at the start of the videos I do is dobradan. However, dziękuję is actually my preferred word. I got a lovely silver mug as a thank you from a Ukrainian client with the word dziękuję on it, thank you. And I learned it from that and I was delighted to get it. Thank you.
Okay, John, my next question will be if you had to do completely different job for one day, what would you choose to do?
Very good question. If I was going to do a similar job, I'd love to have been a doctor. I'd like to care for people. I'd like to diagnose and treat them. If I was to do something a little bit different, then I would probably go back to college and study history and English language. However, if you ask me for something completely different, I would like to work outdoors, either beside or in the sea or in the forest.
Okay, John, my next question for you, sometimes accidents are terrifying people, and what is your personal approach to claiming the client who walks into your office in state of panic?
Well, good question. The first point is, it's really good that they physically come into the office. It's much harder to help someone if they're at the end of a phone or at the end of a Zoom call. It's harder to know how much panic they're in or what their state of distress is. If you can get a client in front of you and talk to them face to face and show them empathy and be calm, then that calmness will spread to them.
Okay, John, this is great. My next question to you, what is the huge fear among Ukrainians workers that feeling an injury claim means losing their job? How do you address that fear directly?
Well, Edward, the old saying is, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. The way to combat fear is through knowledge and understanding. That washes away the fear. Knowledge gives you power to combat fear.
Okay, John, the next my question is we know the law compensates for broken bones, but what about the invisible injuries? How does the Irish system handle severe psychological stress after an accident?
Provided that you have a psychological report, a psychiatrist's report that can link your psychological issues to the accident and preferably have a recognized psychological condition that it can be attached to, then the law in Ireland deals with psychological problems quite well. Where the law sometimes falls down is where you have psychological injuries, but they don't fall within a category, or your psychiatrist won't link them to what has happened to you. That can be an issue. But in general, no, it's not a problem. And in some way, it's better because it's self-reported, and as long as your psychiatrist believes you and can write a report, then it's fine.
Okay, John, the next question. Many Ukrainians are driving in Ireland. If they get into the car crash today, what are the first three things they must do before they leave the road?
Well, I do believe that Ukrainian drivers are some of the best drivers in the world, but they do have a need for speed, and accidents do happen. If you have an accident, first of all, take pictures or get whoever else is in the car to take a picture, or phone somebody to take a picture. Pictures of car, pictures of skids, pictures of the other people, insurance. Then you need to report it to the police. Number 2, either on the spot or later on. And number 3, if you have injuries, you need to go and see a doctor. Too often, people will bring their car to get fixed before they get themselves looked at. You can get a new car, you can't get a new body.
Next question. The Ukrainians get very confused by the Irish paperwork for injuries. It's a simple way. How does your team make this paperwork easy for someone who doesn't speak perfect English?
Well, first of all, it's important to note Ukrainians are in a different country with a different language, even a different alphabet. So it's not surprising that the procedures are uncomfortable and are difficult for people. We have produced a 10-step guideline in Ukrainian to help people through the process that's available. So we can say to people, oh, why is not my case finished? Oh, you're at step 4. You need to get to step 10. We find this very helpful. Also, we have our native Ukrainian speaker, Olga, who is on hand 24/7 to help people with the questions, even the questions that they might think, oh, that's a little bit silly or a little bit stupid, but it's the one that's annoying you. Olga's there. She'll help. She'll explain it. She understands where you've come from. So Olga's most important.
Okay, John, my next question. If someone doesn't understand the system and feels lost, can they visit your office in person to meet you just face to face?
Of course they can. I'm always happy to see new clients. I'm always happy to meet them face to face. When you meet somebody face to face, it's something special. It's different from talking over the phone. It's different from a Zoom call or a Teams call. It's more personal. Also, when they come to us, they know we're real. We get to hear their side of the story. We have empathy. We have trust. And that's most important.
Okay, John, this was very great answers the day before, but I have a last question for you, and just let me know if you could give you one message to Ukrainian people like they trying to build new life in Ireland, what would you say?
The one word I would say to Ukrainians in Ireland is not to be afraid. Once you engage, once you talk to Irish people, you will find that they are, in general, friendly and helpful. You must talk and engage. Ask people and they will help you.